Hi there! Today I'm going to give you 4 tips to traveling to Kauai, Hawaii on a budget. Here's Hawaii right here. Tip number 1 for accommodation. Camping. Camping is by far the cheapest way to stay on Kauai, besides couch surfing. But since I've had a bad experience doing couch surfing, I've opted to not do that until at a later date when I feel more comfortable. So tip number 1 with accommodation is to go camping. And the state park, there's 2 different types of parks that you can camp at: state park and county park. Now, the state park is extremely easy to book the permit for. You can do it online. It's a bit more expensive than the county park, and we opted to at least stay one night in Koki at the state park. I think it came to like around $18. So we purchased online and everything was good to go. Where we ran into some difficulty, especially when we were looking online to purchase things, because we were located in Australia, was the county parks. Now the county parks are way cheaper, considerably. They're $3 a night. Unless you're a Hawaiian resident, then they're $1 a night. So we were freaking out a bit because we hadn't booked any other accommodation, or it was way out of our budget, but we already had the flights and we were set on going. So I actually came across a blog, and I'll include it in the comments below, the description below, that of this blog called Beard and Curly. Now they also have camped on Kauai, and they recommended just going to the permit office when you got to Kauai and purchasing the permit right there. Because online, what it had us do, or wanted us to do, was fill out this form, send American money or a money order for $3 to Kauai, where they may or may not give you the permit. And it didn't really make much sense. It felt like it was going to be way more money than it was worth, because if you get a money order, post it there, you may not get it in time. So we actually lucked out, because maybe we were in December, that they're giving out less permits, but we showed up, easy peasy, got the permits. I think we had three night permit for there, and you definitely need a permit. So don't think you can get away with camping in Kauai without a permit, because all of the nights we were there, they checked. We actually got a warning for one of the nights because we camped down further a bit, more closer to the, off of the beach, more onto the roadish part, because of the wind and the rain, and they gave us a warning, which was a warning with a fine, possibly, if you didn't move the tent. The next thing for finding camping equipment was we went to Walmart. I looked online first before we went, and I found it was the cheapest. We got a tent for $30, waterproof, best tent I've ever owned, so that was great. What I'd recommend, we came in with 1 pillow and 1 sleeping bag that I brought with me throughout my travels. I'd recommend, if you're going with someone else, to buy a second. Obviously, it makes a bit more sense, and especially when it's cold at night, sharing 1 sleeping bag is not the most ideal. As well as, if you want to splurge a bit, get an air mattress. It will make your life a lot easier, or your sleeping a lot easier. So tip number 1, camping for accommodation, that I'd like to give for, oops. I knew that was gonna happen at some point, because I moved my chair back. There we go. Nope, doesn't want to stay right now. I'll have to fix that later. Anyways, tip number 2 for transportation. There are buses that go around Kauai. We didn't do the bus route. I didn't really find anything online about it, but we had a friend that was staying there, and she says they come, sometimes she hitchhikes. If you're really on a budget, you can probably do that. The Kauai people are really friendly, so that's an option for you guys. I just look a bit more into it. What we did, we ended up renting a car, because there's really one main road around Kauai. There's few that go off of it, but that was the main transportation around, and we had to get to places quite early, and especially when we were camping too, to carry our stuff and our big backpacks. We actually ended up sleeping in the car a couple of nights because it was so cold, so it was well worth the investment to get. But again, there are cheaper ways than renting a car, but it was just the best option for us at the time. So yeah, that would be my suggestion for transportation. Food. Number 3. So if you're a budget backpacker like us, we didn't splurge on any food. Like, we really didn't eat out at any restaurants, which is a bit unfortunate because we're not getting the full Hawaiian experience and tasting their cuisine. But we also wanted to come back with some money, so we opted for the grocery stores. Now, my major tip for the grocery stores is they have memberships, and I would recommend signing up for their memberships. Absolutely free. You can give whatever address you want. They'll give you the card, and you get the prices of the membership. So we got Safeway, and Safeway was by far the cheapest grocery store we went to on the island. And we just shopped there the whole time. I've eaten a lot of refried beans and tacos from there. But again, we didn't really have the right camping stuff for the trip, but definitely Safeway was the best place for us to get our food. Number 4, the activities. Tip number 4 for activities in Kauai. Obviously, there's a lot of trails there, so definitely go hiking. Beautiful landscape. My recommendation to you is kind of get the proper equipment. We had water shoes on, which worked well because it did rain a lot and was completely muddy. But go early to the trails because there's a lot you can do, a lot of hiking. Definitely pack accordingly. There was one trail I wish we would went farther on because it would have been great to get all the way to the Nepali coast. But again, it was raining and we just weren't ready for it. But again, we had a great time, and the trails are definitely the thing we went to go do there, and I would 100% recommend doing hiking trails. You don't need anyone to go with you. If you've hiked before, even if you haven't, they aren't extremely difficult, but as you get further down and you do find it is a bit more difficult, I just say turn back, don't risk it, especially because no one's going to know you're out there. One thing we did do that isn't really budgeting per se is we did go on a kayak tour. You can do it yourself. I kind of wish that we just rented kayaks because using my Maps.me app, it showed you the exact route to get to the secret falls. So if we had just rented the kayaks rather than paying for the guide, again, the experience was great and we had a lovely guide, but you could definitely do it a lot cheaper than hiring that tour. And the final thing that we did do, and again, this is definitely not budget at all, but if you have enough and you've saved and you've scrimped on other areas enough to have this, I would say do a helicopter tour. 100% the best thing we did there. It was breathtaking views. We went and saw all these falls and places you would never get to see without doing a helicopter tour. And it was absolutely awesome. Overall, we had a great time in Kauai. I'd go back again in a heartbeat. I would definitely prepare a bit more for camping if you're gonna do that route. And I can't wait to see any of the other islands that Hawaii has to offer. So thank you for listening to my first vlog ever. Hopefully you find this helpful. I'll provide more descriptions of the places we went and how we got the park permits and all that stuff. But hopefully you like this. Thanks. Bye.